Go.
Good morning. Welcome to United States Sports Academy and our weekly sports talk program. Well, we hope everyone enjoyed the Home Run Derby on Monday night and the All-Star game last night. And we're going to kind of do a recap of that this morning. You know, the All-Star game in baseball is the only All-Star game that really matters because of the fact that the winner of that game gets home field advantage in the World Series. With me this morning is Mr. Ben Billman, one of our graduate teaching assistants, and Dr. Brett Simmerlocker, our chair of sports coaching. And two huge baseball fans, and me, I'm just here to row the boat and let these guys provide you with their expertise. Sarah's back with us behind the camera, telling us what to do and when to be quiet. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to go ahead and send them in, and Sarah will read those to us. So I think you and I both picked American League, right?
We did.
I didn't make a selection.
No, Cromartie picked the National.
I probably would have gone National League because the Cub players were in the game, and I figured the Cubs might step up because they knew this was maybe their one opportunity to really make an impact, but not at all. So.
Yeah, you know, and some people, Ben's doing his dissertation on home field advantage, and some people think it's not important, but one of the things they talked about last night was 2 years ago in 2014 when the Giants won Game 7 in Kansas City. That was the first time since 1979 that a team had won Game 7 on the road. Mm-hmm. The Pirates beat the Orioles, you know, the We Are Family team, Willie Stargell and boys in 1979, beat the Orioles in Baltimore. But since then, no road team has won a Game 7. And I think you told me yesterday that the 9 of the 14?
I looked it up. The 6 of the last 7 teams who've had home field advantage have won, and 24 of the last 30. So it's pretty significant.
And they've been doing the game is decided home field for 14 years, and the American League's won 11 times in those 14 years.
That's pretty
So
substantial.
that's pretty amazing. Another thing that happened during All-Star Game weekend was All-Star Game week was the Home Run Derby on Monday night. And oftentimes, you know, I like the Home Run Derby. I think it's one of the best kind of gimmicky events in sports. I think Tim Kirchin summed it up great on Monday night. He said, you know, this is our version of the slam dunk contest. Mm-hmm. He said, but there are kids on playgrounds and high schools and colleges that can do those dunks. There's nobody else on the face of the earth that can hit a baseball like a Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's a perfect summary of the Home Run Derby.
Mm-hmm.
Having watched a bunch of them, oftentimes they turn out to be disappointments. But I think what happened Monday night was kind of what we expected.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, for Brett and I, Ben's a little younger than us, but for Brett and I, 61 home runs was a magic number for 37 years of my life.
Right.
You know, from 1961 through 1998 when
and he did it in 13 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was pretty amazing. 61.
Right. There wasn't all the pressure, you know, all those things that a game brings, but there is some pressure when you're trying to perform in front of all those fans that are there.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest pressure is when you get up there and you haven't hit one yet. Because there have been a few big time sluggers in the past who laid a big old goose egg on the board.
Well, I really enjoyed the new format of the Home Run Derby because it was timed instead of having the outs. And so players did not take as many pitches. Before, you'd see they'd wait for the right pitch. This time they just had to swing and swing. And I thought that was a lot more exciting. I like the idea of taking a timeout where you can get a drink, you know, get some encouragement from a player. They had the little kids come out with the Gatorade.
Well, it paid off the trombones.
It did. And so I really like that. I like the 30-second bonus that players could get. And it went quickly, but it still was very exciting to watch. And obviously Steen's performance was unworldly.
Epic.
Yeah.
You know, the only performance I can remember being as impressive as Stanton's was Josh Hamilton's in Yankee Stadium in round 1, but then he didn't win it. And, you know, I think if you ask anybody about the Home Run Derby in Yankee Stadium, I don't remember what year it was, they're going to talk about Josh Hamilton. I don't remember who won it.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing, because he had that big first round when he had I believe he had 25.
20-some.
And they I think he got tired or whatever. And that's I think another thing that one of the reasons why Stanton's record, if they keep the same format,
Mhm.
Stanton's record may stand for a long time because he hit first in every round.
He did.
Mhm. He set the precedent.
He said and
Mhm.
so like Trumbo in his first round may have hit 24, but because he never even he still had 30 seconds
Right.
left in his 4 minutes, so he had basically a minute left. He had his 30 seconds plus his bonus time, but as soon as he hit number 16,
He quit.
the round was
Mhm.
over.
Yeah.
He moved on, and Stanton.
Well, he wanted to save himself because he knew who he had to face.
Yeah.
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 But Stanton being the lower seed, being the 5 seed, had to hit first every time, so he could hit as many as he could. And
Well, I want to know how he's a 5 seed.
well, they went by number of home runs.
Oh,
And then there's also a comment that he wasn't an all-star, though.
Yeah,
True.
He wasn't an all-star, but he was an all-star Monday night.
Yeah.
He won.
Yeah.
It's kind of fascinating. They did some flashbacks like Griffey's year, wearing his hat backwards and hitting the building in Baltimore.
right.
And then of course, they showed the Josh Hamilton, but I think this one was by far the most impressive because he carried it through. I mean, how many times has somebody hit more home runs in round 3 than they did in round 2?
Well, and the most amazing thing to me was he would hit one and it was in the air so long that by the time the camera refocused on him, he had already hit another one and it was on his way out.
Yeah.
So it was like you'd be watching one and then all of a sudden they cut to another one that was almost to the stands as well. It was just one after the other, just constant.
The rule was that if it wasn't a home run, you had to wait till the ball hit the ground, or you had to wait till the ball cleared the fence. 'Cause I don't know if you noticed, but a couple of angles they showed the umpire. There was an umpire kind of back behind what would be the left-handed batter's box, and he was holding his hand up
Okay.
to the pitcher. Then he was pointing to the pitcher.
Yeah.
The thing that a lot of people overlook, though, is how important is the guy throwing the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys, that's an art in itself, throwing batting practice.
Well, did you see the Padres guy, Will Myers, who was in the home run derby? His brother was throwing the pitches and actually beamed him.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
You should have charged him out.
Yeah. Call a timeout and charge them out. That would have been great.
Yeah, when you're getting close and like you need one more home run to tie, or you need to hit another bomb to get the bonus, the pressure kind of goes to the pitcher.
Right.
Because if especially with that clock going down, if it's at 3-2 and this is the last swing and you throw it in the dirt,
Mhm.
it's kind of like when I used to pitch to my son and coach pitch.
Mhm.
The pressure wasn't on my son; it was on me
Yeah.
to throw him a good pitch.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, the home run derby was quite impressive, and Giancarlo Stanton said all the right things afterwards.
Mhm.
Even though he wasn't an all-star, he certainly was the star of the show on Monday night. All right, so we saw, and Trumbo didn't disappoint either.
No.
Trumbo was impressive. It's a shame they had to face each other in the semifinals,
Right.
the way it was set up, but
Mhm.
that's the way it goes sometimes. They need to what's the right word?
I know what you're saying.
Reseed.
Yeah, reseed them
Right.
after the first round,
Mhm.
so they can have Trumbo and Stanton in the finals. But it was good. The thing that made the finals good was you had the defending champ.
Right.
Todd Frazier. Mhm.
So anyway, last night, All-Star game, 4-2, the American League wins. Kansas City Royals knocked in all 4 runs.
Right.
Um,
Hosmer was the MVP.
Hosmer was the MVP. First, who the last Kansas City Royal to be MVP of the All-Star game was?
Amos Otis.
Nope.
No, Bo.
Bo.
Whoa.
Mm.
Is that right?
If you live in Alabama, you don't have to say the whole name. You can just say Bo.
I think that's worldwide.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who you're talking
I don't think
about.
that's just Alabama.
Yeah, they showed the replay last night. The bomb he hit off Rick Russell
Oh.
in Kansas City onto the stuff out there,
like
the tarp.
yeah.
But Tim Turchin, when they showed the replay, said, "I promise you, that's the strongest man ever to bat leadoff in a baseball game." Talking about Bo Jackson.
Guaranteed.
So we know this is an even year, so we know the Giants are going to be in the World Series, but they'll have to play Game 7 on the road again. So how important, Ben, based on your research, how important do you think that home field advantage is in the World Series?
I think it's pretty important, especially with the DH, non-DH. I think that could play a big role in what happens. It could really, and the American League. I mean, the Royals are the defending champs. The Royals came up big in this All-Star game, so the momentum is there right now for the American League. And psychologically, that could be a big impact, especially in Game 7.
I think Game 7 is where it really matters. And, the National League had a tremendous advantage in starting pitching over the American League. They still do. I mean, this season, if you look at the starting pitching, they have a huge advantage. But once Ned Yost got in the bullpen, it was like 100, 100, 100, 100. He brought his guy in like the 6th inning, the Kansas City guy that throws 100. And then the guy from the Yankees, man.
I can't even say his last name.
Yeah, DeHansis or whatever it is. DeHansis.
Batanza?
Yeah,
Yeah,
DeHansis.
that's it.
The dude's unhittable when he's right. And then he brought in. I
The other Yankee reliever was in too,
Yeah,
Andrew
Andrew
Miller.
They actually got a couple guys on against him, and then they brought the Oriole kid closer in to close it, and he shut the door. So, what are your lasting thoughts from this year's All-Star game, Brett?
Well, not only was it 2 Royals, but it was a former Royal on the mound that gave up the 2 home runs.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the interview with Hosmer, he talked about his changeup and how he usually throws that changeup and then he'll try to quick pitch people. And he said, I was waiting on that. So, now there's talk, as we talked before we went on the air, about, whether it's important if you know someone and you've played with someone. I think it plays a major role. As I told you, I pitched against my brother a lot as we got older, but he knew, he knew as growing up and playing together and, what pitches I wanted to throw where and those kind of things. Because a lot of times he was the catcher and Perez is a catcher. I think it plays unless you're Sandy Koufax, and you could probably
There's no
tell
way to
somebody what's
avoid it.
coming and they not hit it.
I
But,
think they could probably hit Sandy Koufax now.
oh, sure.
He just turned 80 in December.
Yeah, I'm sure they could. But I just had a feeling that those 2 guys, Perez and Hosmer, have come up big for that organization in the last couple of years,
Yes.
and it seems like it's continuing.
Did you see Terry Collins' quote after the game?
I did not.
Terry Collins' quote was, "I'm tired of that bleeping Hosmer coming up with big bleeping hits against me."
Yeah.
And he
You
does.
can fill in the blank.
Right.
They had on ESPN. They had the quote up there, and they had a line underlined. It said expletive in parentheses. So you can probably figure out what it was. One of the great things I thought about. I always one of my favorite parts of the All-Star game is when they announce the starting lineups. I just think that's really cool. And last night, after they announced the starting lineups, the commissioner was out there, and they let Dick Enberg do it. Because he's the announcer for the Padres, and actually our Ronald Reagan Media Award winner. Was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year.
Was it last year?
No, last year was I think it was last year. It was either last year or the year before, and because the lady from USA Today won one of those 2 years ago. But Dick Enberg, a former winner of our media award and a legend in the broadcast business, was the announcer, and they made the official announcement that from this day forward, the American League batting champion will win the Rod Carew Award. And Rod Carew and his entire family was there, and they showed some replays. I remember when Rod Carew was in his prime. There was this one baseball expert that said if he bunted every time up, he could hit 300. That's how good of a bunter
He was a good bunter.
He was an awesome bunter, and he's a 7-time American League batting champ. So from now on, the batting champ in the American League will be the Rod Carew Award winner, and the batting champ in the National League will be the Tony Gwynn Award winner. And obviously, the sad part about that is that Tony wasn't there, but his wife and his kids were there to share it. And they showed clips of him. And then it was about the 5th or 6th inning, they started talking about Tony Gwynn, Joe Buck, and John Smoltz were the announcers. And Smoltz almost couldn't say this without laughing. But Smoltz, for some reason, I guess Major League Baseball didn't do well in geography in school. But Atlanta was in the Western Division, and they played the Padres, 16, 18 times a year. And when Tony Gwynn was in his prime, and Smoltz, Maddox, and Glavine in their career struck out Tony Gwynn 3 times, which is amazing.
That is
It's amazing. And then they put the numbers up there. I can't remember the exact numbers, but Tony Gwynn hit like 472 against Smoltz and like 459 against Maddox, and then like 320 against Glavin, which is the lefty on lefty thing. But still, I showed Brett a stat. I don't know if I've ever shown you this one, but we were talking about it a couple months ago, and Tony Gwynn could have played 2 more seasons, had 580 at-bats each season, and not got a hit. Went 0 for 11, 60, and still been a career 300 hitter.
It's incredible.
Which is pretty
Yeah.
amazing. And I think all 3 of us agree, we can't, obviously nobody knows for sure, but I think we agree that he would have had a really good shot at hitting 400 in 1994, because he was hitting 394 and he was trending up. He was
Right.
really hot when the players went on strike. And they also showed last night though when Ted Williams threw out the first pitch and him and Tony Gwynn were kind of talking about baseball. He could hit.
He could definitely hit.
I went to one baseball game in my life in San Diego. I was there on vacation. I went to a ball game and you know how you watch players from a distance and you've never really seen them play live, and sometimes you go and you're really disappointed. I got to see Tony Gwynn play one time. He had 3 singles and 2 doubles and went 5 for 5.
Wow.
It was like the first time I saw Nolan Ryan pitch. He pitched a 1-hitter with 16 strikeouts. So I was really lucky in those 2 games to get the thing. Do we have any questions, Sarah?
Mm-mm.
All right, we don't have any questions, and Sarah's pointing to the clock, so I guess that means we're out of time.
Yeah.
She's saying, "Shut up, Butler, and get off the air."
No, I'm not.
Well, we hope everybody enjoyed the All-Star game. I certainly enjoyed the Home Run Derby. I'm an American League fan, so I'm not a Royals fan, but they helped the American League win, so that's okay. We'll see what happens this year in the World Series if it does come down to a Game 7. When the Giants won it in 2010, they didn't need to go back to the American League City. They won it in San Francisco in 5. So we have probably next week or the week after we'll do our Olympic preview. We had the swimming trials last weekend, the gymnastic trials, the track and field trials. The one person I want to mention from the track and field trials that really was impressive to me was Bernard Lagat. At 41 years old, winning the 5,000 meters American Championship and making his 5th Olympic team, which is pretty impressive for a distance runner. But we'll talk more about the Olympics in the coming weeks. August 5th, I think, is opening ceremonies, so we're getting close. And we'll get back to playing some baseball. Not tonight.
Friday night.
Friday night, we get back to playing
SBs
baseball.
are tonight.
ESPYs are tonight. Watch the ESPYs. I think Joe Biden's going to make an appearance. And who's the host?
John Cena.
Yeah, John Cena from the WWE. So it's always a good show just to see the stars mingle with the athletes. And next week at 11:30 a.m. Central Time, we'll be here with another edition of Sports Talk, live from the campus of the United States Sports Academy. We hope everyone has a great week in sports.